Mike, you saucy scallywag. I be needing the smallest of favours from ye. A great parlay is being held in Porthaven soon, and it simply wouldn't do to show up without the finest vessel that ever put to sea. This put me in mind of your talents. I think you'd be just the man. Please find attached, or at least washed up nearby, a crate full of parts with which to build a vessel worthy of Porthaven, and a bottle of the finest rum as a token of me thanks. Lots of love, Captain Josh the Pirate.
Hello everyone, I'm Mike Moans and I've spent 123 hours building, painting, sometimes breaking and repairing this pirate ship. It's been a really fun journey and sometimes stressful, and I'm going to share it with you all today. Live on Twitch, I've painted this... Sorry, correction. It's Mike Moans live from Twitch with Willow, who's definitely going to be part of this video today. So before we start the main video, I just want to take a little moment to thank everyone who's been helping me on Twitch recently. We recently hit the milestone of Twitch partner, which I still can't believe. So thank you very much to everyone doing that. So we need to talk about this giant vessel. It is a very impressive piece, and I will probably say it's one of the pinnacle things Dungeons & Lasers have ever done. Now, I will say that now before Caves arrives. Caves is due to be shipping any day now. In fact, they announced it this morning. That shipping is continuing. So hopefully I'll be getting my fully Prismacast set very soon. The AIM shipping is May, and they've always reached deadline, or even massively before. I think one time 6 months in advance. So I have a lot of hopes for Porthaven, but let's talk about this ship today. The thing to remember about this is this entire project is based on a prototype. By the time this comes to launch in the first quarter of 2026, you will all get perfected retail copies. So starting off, this is 28 inches of pure impressive battleship, 22 tall, and the fundamental problem is quite a lot of people don't have the space to do this. If you are a professional hobbyist or you have a dedicated workspace, you may be lucky enough to do it, but I did face some problems. So I have a few tips to help with that. The height of it can be mitigated by collapsing down the masts. Each of those can be stored safely underneath, assuming you've added either magnets or a removable pin to the yards across. All the masts can be dissected here, and at the base, and the entire thing can be dismantled into the two top layers, the main deck and the below deck. The cannons are fully free roaming, so if you wanted to move those to perhaps your castle playset, you can do. And below deck, you do have some stairs that can be removed as well. One of the highly advantageous things about this kit is it is actually big enough to store miniatures as well. Below deck, you could probably fit about 25mm based minis, and above deck, more of the same. So if you're worried about model storage, this is a storage solution, which is what I'll be telling my partner when she asks, where are we going to put that thing? And I pull this face. And then she says, no, I mean the hulking great battleship you spend money on. This ship has been made fully playable for a 5e adventure using the Ghost of Saltmarsh rules. There will be additional rules available in the Porthaven TTRPG supplement. Something that very easily flies under the radar is that this ship is in fact an invisible grid system. What I mean by that is if you look at key elements of the ship, such as the door frame, you have 4 side-by-side squares. You also have grids marked out by the crosses at each of the masts, and general measurements do make sense for a miniature. For anyone who may struggle with that, you can always use a 3D printed range measuring device or similar TTRPG tool. Can you hear the sound of the players panic as the DMs realise they can finally use their biggest monsters? It's all well and good saying it's 28 inches, but without anything to compare it to, it's almost meaningless. So here is the Sea Harpy. Here is Pepe the Giant, one of the earliest Dungeons & Lasers kits. With Deus Layer we got the Kraken. With Encounters we got the Tarrasque. And my previous biggest miniature, Maldrakar from Reaper Miniatures. This thing weighs like 6.9 pounds, it's huge. So well done to Dungeons & Lasers for toppling the record at my table. And as somebody asked how much the ship weighs during the AMA as the project went live, it weighs 1.38 kilos, including 12 cannons and the anchors. Here are some tips for tools and materials and innovations you may need before you start the project. Number 1, get a rotary tool. Jesus, it will save you a ton of time. Next up, elastic bands. You either need to be gifted with very large hands or you need to be able to be very patient with this model. Having elastic bands to hold together those joints will be super helpful. While polycement is amazing, it does take a while to set, and if you need to do a quick joint, make sure you got some super glue to hand and some activator to quickly lock down those corners. Ideally, a gel-based super glue will be really helpful as it gives you a little extra time to line up your joints properly. With the masts being 22 inches tall in total height with the ship, there is a strong levering effect which puts a lot of stress on the small join. So the riggings here are super helpful to magnetize to add strength to the build. This can be done with a cheap set of neodymium magnets I picked off eBay. I believe I used 3mm, but you could probably get away with 2. To mount them, all you need to do is line up your riggings, giving some guiding lines, drill some holes, super glue them in, making sure you match the polarity, and then just simply assemble. While the magnetic pull will hold this together firmly, the teeth on the riggings themselves will lock in the horizontal plane. When you get to assemble the very front of the ship, don't do what I did. I glued down this piece. It's completely unnecessary to do so, using 3 magnets here at the contact points where I put glue. Insert magnets to avoid stabbing yourself in the eye during painting. I learnt a valuable lesson. Moving on, we have the Miracle Paste Green Putty. This is from Green Stuff World and it is a water-soluble version of green stuff. It has the consistency of toothpaste and can be applied with a wet paintbrush into very small recesses, helping your gap fill immeasurably. Being water-soluble, it's super easy to smooth out and unnoticeable under your primer. But if you're a perfectionist, you can easily sand it as well. I built this with prototype instructions. If it is the same for me as it is for you, build your top decks first. This can be used to measure up your walls, making sure they fit properly, so you don't have to make adaptations after building the whole ship. I've been working with minis for 20 years, and I got a little bit hubris at this point. These 5 crow's nests, they're 2 different designs. Make sure you note that, because if you have to cut them and redo them, unfortunately there's not a lot of surface area, so it will be a weak point. Read it properly, get it right first time, you'll save yourself a lot of stress. Unfortunately, I didn't. At the time of release, I will do a painting guide covering everything I've done with this miniature. Miniature, like it's not 28 inches long. Really easy. Prime brown. That'll start your woods off, but you will need to top up your primer. You can't get aerosol around all the angles of the ship if it is fully assembled. You may have more luck with an airbrush. For this, I chose leather brown from Army Painter so I could go straight in with a dry brush of dark sand, and then that leads into my next point. Mix all your washes ahead of time into jars. You do not want inconsistent washes. It was an absolute godsend to be able to just refer back to this whenever I needed it and keep everything consistent. Make sure you regularly shake it, and I do tend to give it a stir every time I put my brush in. With me being a full-time content creator, primarily on Twitch, there may be some issues that I had to face that you won't find yourself facing. For example, trying to keep 28 inches of battleship underneath not only 1 camera, but 2 cameras did leave me with some mobility issues. That said, I still assume that people will have issues painting this because you will need to topple it onto its side. Make sure you paint the anchors separately and assemble them at the very end. That will prevent them breaking. Not to forget the general wear and tear of just handling a miniature this big during the painting stages. I have come up with a solution though, and I feel pretty smart for this. After the first day of painting, I went to my 3D printer and I printed off this laptop stand. This printed in like 4 hours, super easy to do, and it allowed me to keep a consistent 45-degree angle and provide a handle for painting. Adjusting it not only made it better for the camera for my viewers watching the stream, it made it so much easier for me to see opposite railings, into rooms, around corners. But really, I can't imagine doing this project without one. If you don't own a 3D printer, you could pick up adjustable laptop stands off Amazon, but this is the absolute biggest hint I can give you. Get something to help you with those angles. Even on the smaller pieces, it was absolutely invaluable. To improve this idea further, I took some anti-slip pads for furniture, mounted them at the very front end of the laptop stand, and one during the middle, and it stopped it sliding around and protected it from any further abrasions. With it being so long and resting it on the desk and painting it, it may cause it to bend a little in the middle. This actually stopped that happening, preventing warping. No walls opened up, no joints, no gap fills had to be emergency repaired. This fixed so many problems painting. But we've never painted miniatures like this. This is new, and I'm very proud to be your very honest guinea pig. So the question is, if you would like this ship, can you handle it? The problem you're going to have is finding 28 inches to store, and yes, you can chop off 4 inches off the end, but you will need a shelf. Luckily, most Billy bookcases or standard IKEA furniture, a household shelf should accommodate this perfectly fine. If you struggle with painting or struggle having time, you can buy yourself Prismacast. But I tell you now, there's not one man on the planet who is prouder than me of his work right now. So thank you very much for getting this far. The main thank you goes to the Archon team who sent me the most wonderful treasure chest. I had a great day out with my family digging up at the beach and recording footage. It was a real joy for me. The boat itself, magnificent. The crew, we've already done Beppo, we're looking at doing more. Absolutely wonderful again. And I've still got Baylor to build, so perhaps I'll make a video for that, or you can join me on Twitch. So thank you to everyone who helped me make this video, not including Willow right now. In my excitement, I forgot to remind you all that this has monsters and NPCs, including this plus-size panty dropper that Archon have lovingly named after me. Thank you so much. You didn't have to, but it's really appreciated. Something else I definitely should have mentioned is there's also a ghost variation of the ship, which is available in clear plastic. Comes with some amazing add-ons, including a gorgeous figurehead. Thank you very much to Pirate Josh for helping me with the intro. Please do check out Corsair's Cove live on Twitch. They do the most amazing Humblewood playthroughs, and you can check our adventures together where we collabed on their YouTube channel. Please do check them out on both platforms with the links below the stream. Porthaven is in full swing with the massive NPC set, the scattered terrain, and as of right now, they've just hit their 1 million goal. That's amazing. Get your pledges in and don't miss out. This is a huge saving versus retail.